What's up? What's up, everybody? You got the car man today, and we are going to be discussing the reverse sell of a trade-in. You ever wondered how to make the most out of a car deal or figure out how to not offend someone when that's traded in a car? It's a quick way to lose your car deal, then stay tuned. Secondly, this is a channel based on education, so I hope we can share something with you that you might get out of it. And then also, if you get a chance, check out our Amazon store. It be listed. Anything we talk about will be on the bottom. It'll be great for you. And I guess on we go. All the niceties and pleasantries are done. Well, how is everyone? Those anybody's in here yet? I guess it'll be just a second. Oh, somebody's got in. Hey, what's up? So, all right. So today, this video is going to be part of a series. If you're interested in it, it's going to be in a playlist. It'll probably be a couple days before it gets into airtime. But the playlist probably about 2 weeks from now, and all of our stuff is cataloged in playlists. But it takes a few weeks to get everything lined up. So if you ever just browse them one day, check out our playlist. You'd be like surprised at what's in there, probably. All right, so here we go. The used car business is designed to make you win if you play it right as a salesperson. And so far, to recap where we went, we started out this session or this particular series, and I was telling you about how to do a correct meet and greet where you've gained the guy's respect and the family, they kind of trust you a little bit. And then I told you about the walk around and feature benefit, where then you give them some of your knowledge, you sell them on the brand, they feel pretty good about the product and the warranties and the safety of the car and all of this good stuff. And that's nice and good. And then I told you, hey, take them on a test drive. And on the test drive, we all fall in love. It's about the feels. And after that, you've now came back to the dealership and basically you're trying to figure out what to do next. It's not a problem. So you pull in, and I've told you already in the last session that when you pull in, you tell them if they would like the car, pull it back to the front where they want it. And that's where I'm going to assume that we're leaving this point from. But the best place to tell them to point it, which I was telling you yesterday, I was going to get into this, is to pull it right beside their trade-in if they have one. It is the best place to pull a new car because there's nothing like it right in your face. There's trusty old blue, but he's kind of beat up. But then we're looking at the brand new shiny penny, so it kind of works out real good. So the first clue I can tell you on your Timo drive when you get back to start the reverse sell of the trade, pull that brand new car up right beside it. That's the first thing you want to do. Because like they say, a picture's worth a billion words. And that's true. True, true, true. All right, so first let's talk about why we need to have this reverse sell of the trade. Because you got to understand the psychology behind it. If you don't take the time to show them a realistic check on their vehicle, it can blow your deal in about 20 minutes from this point. Meaning, if they have an overinflated idea of what their car is worth, or if there's something that there's something wrong with it that you're not aware of, you need to find all this out before your used car manager gets a hold of it. I'm just telling you. So this is the purpose behind it, is so you can be prepared ahead of time to make the deal happen and get the value of the vehicle reasonable. It doesn't have to be super cheap, but you've got to get them reasonably priced in order to sell them your car. Because if a guy wants $3,000 more for his car than it's worth, then your chances on selling them a new car just went to zero. Because he's the one making all the profit, not you. I.e., reverse sell. We want to sell them that their car is only worth X amount of money. So how I usually do this is the same way I sell them the new car. I do a walk around, except instead of me giving the answers, I start asking them questions. Pop the hood. Hey, let me ask you a few things about your car before we go get it looked at, so I've got my answers and I get everything in order for anybody that wants to know. I know, and they're already comfortable with you, so no problem. So get them to pop the hood, and they walk around front and say, all right, what size engine is this? Of course, even if you know, it doesn't matter, just ask them. And then they'll tell you and be like, oh, is it have the timing belt and chain and all the maintenance done or any of that stuff? And they'll either say yes or no. If they say no, then immediately you know that they know that it's not a maintenance car and you know it now. And most people are going to be honest without even thinking. They're just going to tell you. Same principle applies. When you're checking a car to buy, when we're buying one out as a wholesale unit, you still want to come out here and you want to start with the brake, check it out, make sure it's not low, then turn around to the power steering, the oil as well. And if power steering's low, you're gonna have to crawl under the car and take a look for oil check leaks anyway. But I mean, you're gonna do that anyway. But just definite if it's low. Same thing with the oil. Pull it out, look at it in the sunlight where they can see you looking at it, and be like, "Yeah, I'm just checking for metal flakes because older engines tend to wear out, and this is where you seem to find the wear and tear." So, and you're immediately what you're doing to these people is you're bringing them to reality. They just drove a brand new car, and they know that their car is not standing up to this brand new car. Period. In the story, they know it. And you don't want to shame them on their car, but you want to make sure that they understand that they do have an old beat down car, period. All right. So once you do that, no problem. Go start the walk around just like you do on the feature benefit. Start on the driver's side front and then walk your way around. Except this time, take your hand, drag it along the front, and anytime you feel something, you can make just small comments. You don't have to be like, "Oh, what is your wife drunk?" or who's the drunk around here? No, don't say that. Don't say anything like that. Say, "Oh, a little ding here. I wonder what happened here." And then you can really look at it and just kind of step back. You got to give some visual effects here. You got to make it look important. You got to make it look official. You got to make it look like you know what you're talking about, even if you don't. So sit back, take looks, different angles, ask questions. When you get to the tires, hey, how old are these? And all these things don't really matter to us. They really don't. Especially if you're a salesperson working in a car dealership, they're going to send a used car dealer or a used car manager down to appraise the car anyway. So at that point, it doesn't matter. This is all about you. Hey, what's up, Texas? We got Barbados, Texas. Who else is on here today? We've got about 5. We usually get about 5 or 10 on here on the show. Then it goes into rotation. Then that's when everybody wants to ask questions. But it is too late to ask questions once the show's over. Well, I take that back. I do answer them, but you don't get a live answer. So anyway, we're doing the walk around and we're tasting stuff and we're asking, what's happened here, what happened there, that sort of thing. And then the second thing you want to do is kind of touch base on the interior. Hey, does the AC work? Because if it doesn't, this is just these are little things that you're getting. You're getting information to help you close your deal. AC doesn't work. Oh man, you got to have good cold AC, man. It's too rough for your family, or you're gonna need to have heat. Whatever they're going without, you need to sell them on the fact that they got it on your car. Just kind of, always bump your own ride up a little bit. Oh well, that's going to be a good thing about your new car having AC, isn't it? Yes, sir. Yes, it will be. Great, 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 great. So go through the little walk around. Don't kill it. This takes about a 10-minute process, tops. You might be able to kill it in 6 or 7 minutes. Get them to go ahead and come on inside and start your deal, which tomorrow we'll get into starting your deal. But when you go and present the trade on this, we'll have to get back into the deal. Negotiations is going to start on Monday. That's kind of a whole nother thing, whole nother deal, objections and all that good stuff. But when you do present your trade in, what you need to say is, because people might be like, "Oh, I might want to keep my car." It's okay if they want to keep their car. Sometimes you make more money. But the benefits of trading their car is A, they don't have to deal with the people selling it because we all know what that's like. And then B, they also get a tax credit. So whatever the dealer is going to give them, say the dealer is going to give them $500. Well, that's $500 they don't have to pay the taxable difference on. So that's kind of a benefit. And there's just a few little benefits with it. The main one is they don't have to deal with the problem themselves, and I guess the little tax credit. So that's kind of the big deal. Now, why do you want them to trade? How can this help you out? How can you turn the trade into you being a winner? Because the store is going to look at this and they're going to put what they call ACV, actual cash value on the car. Write that in your book, actual cash value. So if I'm looking at it and one of my guys are bringing it to me and I'm appraising this car and I'm putting a number on it, I'm going to look at it. I'm just to keep things nice and smooth. I'm just going to put an even number on it. I'm going to say, okay, look, this car, I'm going to put $1,000 on it value. That's my actual cash value. Okay, so when my pencil man is dealing with the deal, he knows that the car trade-in value is only $1,000, period. That's all you got working for you. So if your customer thinks that this car is worth 1,500 or 2,000 and they're stuck on it, that means when you do your deal, that 1,500, or I'm sorry, that $1,000 or $500 inflated value that they think they're getting is coming out of what? What's it coming out of, everybody? That's right. It's coming out of your profit, your paycheck, to make these people happy about their car, which is exactly why you have to get them in reality check on what their car is really worth as a dealer trade-in. And people might be like, well, I could sell it for a few hundred more somewhere else. Technically you could, sir or ma'am. However, are you willing to spend a few $100s to detail it and take care of all the little details and assume any liability if something breaks on the car when the people buy it and they're bugging you, knocking on your door? Is that something you really want to deal with? Almost everybody says the exact same thing. No, they don't want to deal with it. So I would definitely work on the actual cash value of the trade number. Like you have to be a balls out salesperson closer to work with reality. But the closer you get to, if you do the steps I told you already, you've already got a reputation with these people, rapport built, and they're going to be trusting you because you've been honest with them and you've done what it took to earn their business correctly. So if you can present them, and if you're just being real, just be real. Hey, look, this is what your car is worth, period. Now, how this can advance you is if you hold back on the trade. Holding back is just like adding to your profit. So if you get a car deal and you say, "Hey, listen, the sales manager hits you at 1,000," you need to tell the sales manager, "Hey, listen, I'm going to hold it back. Just put it in at 5 and give me that 500 to work with. I'll come off of it if I got to." So that basically $500 to you would be what, $125 in your pocket if you're a commission guy. So always work on the holdback principle. Always have, because people, when the big scheme of how all this works, the dealer's going to nail you for everything from the dealer pack, which this days and days can be up $800, $900, and then you've got the dealer holdback. Well, it's the dealer holdback first, which nobody gets paid on. That's to pay the increment curtailments due on the car. But then the factory puts incentive money on it, but you're not going to get any of that either. They might give you drip money on it, which is for the rental programs or whatever. But none of this stuff does apply to you as a salesman. You're only in the game for the difference between the MSRP and the invoice, period. So if that's $1,000 range on a $20,000 car, you done great, but you're only looking at a $250 profit. And so if you were able to hold back the trade for $125, you've increased your income by quite a large amount. And if you can do that once a week, that increases your annual income by over $5,500. So that's why I'm saying it's like a realistic thing for you to consider working against cash value on a car. Now, but you do got to make sure the dealer you're working for is not a complete ass. And what I mean is, some of these guys are so lazy and they really are just thieves. They're not fair. So they hit you up no matter what you're driving. If a dealer doesn't like it, be like, "Oh, I'm only gonna put $100 in it." A riding and driving car with inspection and cold AC, you're gonna put $100 in. Well, they don't give you nothing to work with. They're just robbing you. You need to quit that dealership anyway. And you got to be careful about car dealers like that aren't fair with their trade-ins. And if you got wholesalers laying around your car lot waiting for every trade-in to come in, that means that your used car manager, he's on the take, or if he's not on the take, and what that means is he's getting paid for cars that he's selling to other people, which is crooked as shit, but it happens every day. And if that's the case, if there's a bunch of wholesalers, it isn't always the case. I'm just saying it kind of looks that way in this day and age if there's a lot of wholesalers hanging around. Well, then he's holding back on your trade already because he's wanting to wholesale the car to a wholesaler. Then that wholesaler is going to be able to buy it cheap enough where he can sell it to yet another dealer and still make a profit. So those guys aren't being fair to you. So I would definitely be mindful of that if I was mindful of anything. So everybody's got to play fair and everybody's got to play above board, and everybody's got to be cool in the same sandbox. You dig? Y'all dig it? That's how it is. That's how it is in the car business. What else do we got? There's sometimes If you get into the trade and they owe a lot of money, um, and when I was going the country and we did these big sales, we would talk people, do not do this. This is bad. This is bad. But we would talk people into taking their cars and listing them for sale on other sites and just buying the car straight out. You sometimes you can do that, but if a person can handle two car payments and they're upside down, yes, that's why the wholesaler has a bigger house than the dealer. The dealers are stupid, so they let the wholesaler make all the real profit on the car. So the wholesaler walks in and says, "Hey, your car's worth $300 or $400, man," and I would eat them. I would eat wholesalers' asses alive. They do not want to cross me. I like them when we're out drinking beer. We all good buddies, but when we're doing business, there's no room for the wholesaler because I'm not a lazy guy, and I'm going to take that trade in and I'm going to market it through the sale, or I'm going to have my detail department clean it up and run it through the shop, see if it's worth selling. And that's exactly right. They're lazy desk guys. That's exactly right. And when they lay down for the wholesalers, that just means that they're ripping you off. And you think about this, guys. Think about what kind of time it takes to get one card deal. I mean, one legit card deal. And you don't have no guarantee after you spend all of this time that you're even going to make anything other than what we call a mini deal. Some people that's $50, sometimes it's 75. Some places it's 100. But you don't have any guarantee other than maybe possibly a mini deal. And so you've actually, look at man, did the meet and greet, man. You've got 10, 15 minutes in that, and then you turn around and you might have 40 minutes into the feature benefits. I mean, you know how many cars you went through, and then you turn around the test drive, another 30 minutes. You may have to take a second test drive because you didn't have a car ready. Now you spent the time on you've got the time on the trade, and you've took the time to get to know the customer. You've took them down to reality, on and on and on. And here's some asshole sitting up there that's too lazy to even get off the desk to come look at your car to see what it's worth. So I'm on your guy's side. I mean, I'm completely on the salesperson's side of this right here. And there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than a lazy desk guy. Nothing. I used to get my guys if they couldn't. I'd always go straight to the salespeople, and I'll tell you what. The quote unquote sales managers hires, the guys that know everything, they're usually just lazy asses. I hate to call it that, but that's what a lot of them are. Now they are pretty good with numbers. Like they're up there on the Reynolds system and they're jamming information in. And basically the computer they work on, here's how it works. Here's the whole premise of the deal. The guy puts it in and he says, okay, the computers are set up like this. You can say, okay, we've got this person at a $400 payment. So they put that in the computer. And they've got a $1,000 trade. They put that in the computer. And then whatever they think their APR is, they've already looked at your credit. They're going to assume you're whatever. That's right. So they got you at 400 and 1,000. Yeah, so we get you a $400 payment, $1,000 a month. So the computer kicks out. Okay, well if you put these parameters in here, then here's your prices. It runs it all backwards. So the sales manager, because you're not smart enough to figure it out on yourself, will put you. He'll start penciling your deal. This is your down payment. This is your payment. Go take it back to your customer, and if they say okay, we can live with that, then they go into the next stage and print it up, and it's done. But in the premise of doing that, the sales manager does the least amount of work of everybody. He really does. Because I'd be out there, I'd have like 7, 8, 9, 10 deals being penciled at the same time. Which what that means is I've got 10 different salespeople coming at me with different deals and situations going on, and I'm working business on all of them. So but anyway, so what happens is those guys sit up there and they're just used to 25 different salespeople keeping them busy all the time. So instead of them maximizing on each individual, they tend to cherry pick. They're like, oh, well, this person's got an 800 Beacon score, so that's my important one. Here's the guy with 700. It's going to take 5 minutes on a phone call. What's up, Massachusetts? So he's going to take a phone call to get the guy bought or whatever. And we'll put him to the back of the line. Then a guy rolls in at 600 Beacon score, and he's like, I send him over to secondary. I don't feel like screwing with him. Even though there's a deal there, like that's what happens when if you're working at a dealership that has wholesalers around, you can pretty much bet that they're not getting it done on the retail end side of it either, and the financing side of it either. So that's kind of like a little hint in there of how that works. Now, 15, 20 years ago, there was wholesalers everywhere, and it was just the greed ran so rampant in the car business. There was guys making 200,000 a year, and all he was doing was buying cars at this place and taking them over here to that one and selling them. He wasn't even dealing with customers, which is pathetic, but that's just how it works. And it's all done on the backs of people wearing their shoe leather out, beating those streets and hitting that concrete, wearing their kneecaps out for 14 hours a day, which is what pisses me off, and it's bullshit. But back to, not to get too far off subject, which I tend to do. Sorry about the car, man. That's what we do around here. The trade-in is the key to making your deal happen, and it's also one of the only avenues you can actually increase your profit. So that's why I wanted to hit it up, and it is part of the series. And I know not every deal has a trade-in, but and the ones that do, it's fun. Also, I'll tell you some other stuff that happens with trade-ins out there. So you've heard of curb stoning. That's where this all originated from new car salesmen. They'd have a customer that had a cheap car, and they would offer them money. And then the salesman would buy it on the sly and then turn around and sell it that weekend without the dealer knowing it. So that's where that kind of came from. They really, really frown against that. Just throwing that out there. You could advise your customer to, which is cool if they've got plenty of money and the trade is an issue, or they have some value for it, and it truly is only a $500 car. Be like, hey, why don't you just keep it, put it on Craigslist, then reverse sell it again? Sell them on the fact that they need to sell it. Be like, hey, you know, man, we were only give you 500, but after I'm looking at this thing, I think you can get 1,500, 2,000 on Craigslist. Let's just go ahead and buy the car, and you just deal with that one later. Done. So you always got to be flexible, and if you've got a dealer that's just ripping you off, kick the trade. You as a salesperson always have the power to kick the trade. What else can a trade do for you and benefit? Okay, so some people that have like crappy credit, I say crappy credit. That's you know stuff happen to people. I mean, physical stuff, accidents, things, all kinds of things happen to people that can mess their credit up. So it's not really indicative of the person, but if you do got someone with a lower credit margin than usual, and sometimes to get them bought in good, you really need a strong down payment. And this is where the manipulation flip game works for the trade-in. We've had to manufacture. We've had to fake trade-in cars before in the past. We would sell them a $100 junker in the back, and then have them traded in the front. So we would have us a 10% down payment or 15%. Okay, so let's go in here. I want to trade in my wife for a newer model. How do I go about that? Do I reverse sell her? Thank you. Okay, now TF, I got some news for you. There is a guy on here that is an expert in this field. His name is Big Cliff. Big Cliff, please say hi to TF. TF is all about wife management. He has got this under control. All right, TF. All right, here's what I'm thinking. Now, if there's any ladies that are going to see this video, and I'm sure there will be at some point in time, this is only because the tribe made me speak. It is not anything that I'm up to on my own free will. So you could run an ad, TF. You could be like, hey, you could run an ad in the paper, man, 500 down and take over payments, and then, you know, list all her features and benefits. Be like, cook's great. You know, she only slaps you like twice a week, whatever her benefits are. Never heard that from me. I'm retracting that statement. Sorry, YouTube. Yeah, I figured you was. Yeah, so we give the wife a lot of crap. Y'all probably know Jim. Well, Jim was on here yesterday. She lets me joke around about her all the time, but honestly, I'm a little frightened of the girl, to be honest with you. I don't like to joke too much because, you know, she's got that crazy look. You know what I'm saying, guys? You know, she got that look that, you know, you're like, I think everything's cool, but, you know, they get that look you ain't 100% sure. Yeah, so Jen's got one of those looks that I'm not 100% sure with is okay all the time. So I joke around, but not too much when she's around. All right, anybody got any questions on these trade-ins? That kind of I know it's kind of like this little limited clip of what's happening in a car deal, but it's kind of important. And I figured that I'll tell you something else too, guys. Here's another tip. We used to always call. I would make my salespeople call and get the 10-day payoff on a car, and I'll tell you why I do that too. The reason I do that is because a lot of people underestimate or overestimate their payoff. They'll be like, "I owe 5 grand," and they really only owe 3,500, and they hit the car. Say it's worth 5,000. Well, you just picked up $1,500 in equity. Either you can make that in profit, or if you're going to give it to the guy, then that lowers his payment by $35 a month. It just made your deal easier. Also, if the guy owes 1,500 more than he thinks he does, well, then you got to program that into the front of the deal instead of the back end of the deal. Because if you start a deal with the perception that everything is at, say, 10 grand and it turns out to be at 11.5, well, when you're financing and all that stuff, all your payments, the advance on the vehicle, the bank loan, everything's going through the roof. It's going higher. But I definitely get the call and pay off on that. The only ones that I find a little, which probably we're dealing with new cars here. I don't think you're going to get many people that have title loan payoffs, but I've seen it. 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 I've seen the title loan payoffs on nice, expensive late model cars. Definitely call and get those, but definitely check those out for a 10-day payoff too, because they charge like, we need to do a video about title loan places. Those places just suck. But you get like I think it comes out. Somebody that's ever dealt with them, let me know. But I think it comes out with like 200 to 300% rate. It's crazy. Like, it is insane. Now, some states have made them illegal, and they should be banned everywhere. All right, so let's see. Okay, let's say I'm a car dealer and I find someone who is in a traffic accident. It's 4 months later. The insurance company calls and say they're going to pay this car off, and I want the 10-day payoff. Yeah, that's exactly right. How would you figure it? Well, wait a minute. Are you saying that you're the one that owns the paper, or it went to a finance company? Let me read that again. I am a car dealer. If I'm a car dealer and I finance somebody who is so every car's got like a you got to figure out the interest amount that you're charging and the accrued interest for that day. So like most people, they've got like in our computer programs, when you pull it up, it'll automatically calculate it. If you're just a guy that charges a flat rate every month, you could just prorate it. Just take the amount and divide it. Dealer and the lien holder, yeah. So you just have to make the call on it. What's cool about that is if you're the dealer and the lien holder, and if you were smart enough to sell them gap insurance, not that you want anyone to ever get in an accident, but it's like a great payday when they do. Not when they get hurt. I'm just saying, let's say if they were asleep, somebody drove over and smashed their car and it's totaled, no one got hurt. Well, usually because you're told the note, everything is at max retail because your losses are so high in that particular genre of cars. You really get paid if you sell them gap insurance. I hope you got gap insurance, by the way, TF. I don't know if you do or don't, but if you don't have gap insurance, it's definitely worth getting it. It costs about, I'm guessing if you're holding the liens yourself, you're dealing with less than 3 grand back cars. So you could probably get gap insurance for about $80 a car. You can pass that on to the consumer, but it always protects you in a situation like that, because this is your money that's sitting out there. That's a whole different ball game than a bank's money sitting out there. If you're the dealer and want to protect yourself, gap insurance, all your customers, and if you want to, you can just give it to them at cost, and just as like a little safety precaution, so it doesn't cost you anything. And then if they ever get in an accident or something happens, Gap pays the difference between the final payout of what they owe retail and what it is right now, which is an awesome place to be in. I had one day that we had a secondary deal on. It was fine. Nobody got hurt or anything. I would never wish anyone to get hurt or get in an accident on purpose. I'm just saying, because life happens, you just got to be prepared. But we had a kid jump in, and he had I think it was an S10, something like an S10, but he was going through a company called Lydia Claddock. I don't even know if they're still around. But these people charged like a ridiculous discount. It was basically like, say the cost of the car was like 5 grand. By the time Lydia Claddock got their fees, we had to pay Lydia Claddock like 3,500 or 4 grand on top of that. And then we had to add our profit to it. And then after we added and they call it a discount, that $3,500, Lydia Claddock called it a discount. Then after that, we had to put our profit on it. And then after that went his tax and tag, but he's paying tax on that discount of $3,500 plus our profit. So this guy owed say he owed like 11 grand or it was something nuts. I mean, it was just one of them deals. There was no other way around it because his credit was like right to where his credit was at. But yeah, so we put this guy in the street. We get him, we contract him out. He's hooked and done. He's done. The paper's ink's dried. It's over. But before he left, I said, this guy owes so much money, man. We've got to put him on we've got to put some gap insurance on there. Do you know we got his tag work done and he was about a week late. And so I called him up and I was like, hey man, you didn't come get your tag yet. He's like, oh man, car got totaled. I was like, get out of here. He's like, yeah, the insurance company will be calling you. And man, they paid us full board. Now, what we did is we cut Lydia Claddock completely out of the deal. We just put ourselves as lien holder then because we're car people. That's what we do. So we went ahead and kept the entire 5 grand profit or whatever it was. But yeah, so long story short, trust me on that. Gap insurance, if you can, if you're worried about insurance in any other shape or form. All right, fellas. Well, I guess it's about time for me to wrap it up. It's Friday. Monday, we're going to be dealing with Monday, we're going to be getting into negotiations and closing. This is where we bring in the customer in. Like I said, we've addressed the trade. Now they're going to be sitting across from you, and we're going to ask them to spend their very hard-earned money they've been working on. We're going to ask them to commit to a car payment. We're going to ask them to put down a down payment, and we're just going to ask them for their business, and we're going to see where it goes from there. But that's what's going to happen Monday. So I look forward to seeing you guys. And by the way, I think today is 3 weeks we're into the show. It seems to be doing all right. People seem to like it. And one other thing, too, before Monday gets here, I just want to throw this out there, too. So YouTube, I know y'all probably could care rat's ass about YouTube. But anyway, so YouTube, they sent me this email, and they're like, hey, if you want to, we'll let you do merchandise. I'm like, why do I care about merchandise? Well, anyway, it's going to be pretty cool. They let you put it on the bottom of your video. Like you can do T-shirts or whatever or whatever you can come up with. They don't care. They'll let you sell whatever you want, and it's through YouTube. It's pretty cool. I got to look it out. So like, okay, that's pretty cool. Well, I was just going to throw it out there. If y'all can think of a cool logo for the car, man, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking a cool skeleton. I think a cool skeleton is a cool logo. Not an evil one that looks like he just came from the crevices of hell, but like a funny character that can be doing all kinds of stuff that we do on cars. But if y'all think anything, let me know Monday because I'm getting ready to talk to a graphic artist the second week in July, and we're going to sit down. So I'm going to be asking y'all for the next couple weeks any ideas, any stuff you want to see for T-shirts, anything like that, anything cool. Just give me some ideas because I'm not really that guy. I mean, I'm just not. I'm the. If you want to hustle a car deal out and you want to talk about ups and you want to talk about statistics and making lots of money, I'm your guy. But creatively, like getting into I don't know. It ain't my thing. But I know there's a lot of people that watch my videos. I think like 13 million now. So I'm thinking that maybe somebody will come up with an idea. So I'm asking y'all, the tribe, to come up with something. Just let me know what you think would be cool. Tell me if you think the cool looking skeleton would be cool. And all that. Thinking cap going on. All right, Big Cliff. All right. I can't wait to see if Big Cliff comes up. By the way, where's Auto Buff today? Anybody seen Buff? Where's the Buff at? We ain't seen him come on today. I ain't seen him anywhere. Where's he at? Let me look up here. Did he sneak through? Oh, wait, Nathan, I missed some of your stuff here. Lazy desk managers lay down for the whole. Yes. Blanks that don't know the market. Yes. Absolutely, Nathan. They are not legit. They're not there. All they do is they just sit on their butts and collect a paycheck. Hey, where do you work at? I'm assuming you work for a car guy or you work for a franchise or something, or did. Because you got some insight there. That's exact. He's calling it like it is. That's why I figured he was some. He must be associated or had done some car flipping or something in the past. All right. Peace out. I was in it for 20. I knew it. I can just tell from what he's saying that he knows exactly what. And Nathan, am I calling it right? Am I calling it right? You've been in it 25 years. Am I calling it right on the trade? You know I'm calling it right. So he's definitely that's pretty funny. So he said you're so right. So that's exactly right. Oh, yeah. So car people are pretty similar. I mean, we all came up, even though we sold different makes and models. TF, yo Jimmy, what is your favorite? The single favorite easiest car to sell. All right. I'm going to twist this up on you a little bit, bro, man. Rather than picking out a make and model, I'm going to pick out a situation to sell. My favorite situation to sell is a car that it's about $3,000 back a book, balls out pretty, the right mileage, the right color, just the right, the cold air on the hot summer day. I just like a low back book value. You just ride into it and it's sexy and gorgeous, and you can just roll in and just knock their living nuts out. That's what I like. I'm just being real. If you're asking me, I'm just being real with it. He's like a roller. So that's how I look at them. As far as a specific car to buy and sell, if I had to get a specific car that I really like, just on a general day, I wasn't going to be attached to it. Hey, go get me this and reflip it. I'd have to get a Toyota brand car. I'm not a big fan of Toyota. My wife is, but I mean, I am not that really. But they, the name brand, people are just sold that they're so reliable, and on a cheap car, they just are. They're hard to beat. Little Corolla, Camry, you just can't make enough of them. Another one you can't manufacture fast enough and give away is a good running Jeep Liberty. You can buy those things for $1,000, $1,500, clean it up, spend a few dollars on it. You got a $2,500, $3,500 car all day long, just like printing money. That's what you can advertise if they're on the way to pick them up. Yeah, definitely a Corolla. I love Corollas too. Corollas is another one. So I guess to us, our favorite car is the one that we're in the cheapest. I actually got hounded today because they said all you think about is money. That's not true. It's not all I think about is money. I think about losing money too, which I guess is the same subject. Whatever. I like to eat. Apparently, I like to eat. That's why I got stuck on a diet, which y'all are well aware of. All right. Anyway, guys, I'll let you guys go, and y'all have a good weekend. Safe. Keep it real, and we will see you on Monday at 5 o'clock. Nothing but love from the RVA, and we'll see you on the flip.